Stepney, the Bluebell engine, had returned to Solo for another visit. Controller was waiting for him and Percy at Knapford Station.
Stepney, nice to see you again.
Oh, it's so good to be back, sir. And don't worry, I'm ready to be really useful.
Well, I am glad that both of you are here. I've got a very important job for the two of you. An important delivery of scrap iron is required to be collected from the smelters yard and then brought to the docks by tonight.
The smelters yard? Very well, sir.
Ah, don't worry, Percy. Scrapyards ain't that scary. Besides, you'll have me to protect you, pal.
I don't know about the Stepney. I feel very nervous about going to the smelters.
Well, after we collect the iron, a fat controller will be waiting for us at the docks. So nothing will happen, otherwise he'll be sending out a search party for us.
But secretly, Stepney was scared too, as he remembered that Addie and Bert were there. And he remembered the instant he had gotten into the yard the last time he was on Solo. Percy and Stepney soon arrived at the smelters, but by now a small fog was starting to settle, and Percy was starting to feel jittery.
Aren't we loaded yet? I just want to get going so Thomas doesn't take my space at the sheds.
We only need to wait for one more load, Percy, and then we can go. At last the trucks were loaded, but by now a thick fog had started to settle.
Does seem a little spooky, doesn't it?
Nothing to be scared of. Nothing to be scared of.
Just then, the foreman came to speak to them.
Be careful out there, you two. The fog is going to get worse, so just be careful on the line. But I will need you two to stop near Old Bailey Station on the way back to the docks, as he has some scrap that needs clearing out. But make sure you go slowly, as the line is currently undergoing repairs.
Yes, sir.
And then Stepney and Percy puffed away with their important loads. But by now, the fog was becoming so thick that the engines couldn't see past the end of their buffers.
I can't see a thing.
Soon the two engines were at Old Bailey Station. But then, Stepney heard a purring sound, and he went as pale as a ghost. The purring was a very familiar sound to him. Percy was concerned for his friend.
Stepney, what's wrong?
Then, Percy heard the purring sound. It was the sound of an engine, and it was getting louder and louder. Then, a box appeared from the mist.
Oh, here's something for you.
Harry and Bert! Run!
Stepney and Percy sped off down the main line.
Oh no, we're going to get scrapped.
Not if we keep running.
Henry was pulling the flying kipper when he saw Stepney and Percy race down the line. Stepney! Percy! Slow down!
Sorry we can't, Henry, mate.
The wide will get scrapped.
The Fat Controller was waiting at the docks. Then, he suddenly saw Stepney and Percy speed in. He was very surprised.
Stepney? Percy? What is the meaning of this?
Please, sir. We didn't mean to come in so fast.
We just didn't want to get scrapped, sir.
Scrapped? Where on earth did you get that idea?
Then, 2 diesel horns were heard.
Ah! Harry and Bert, they followed us.
Wait a minute. Stepney, that isn't Harry and Bert.
And Percy was right. It wasn't Addy and Bert. 2 diesels pulled in. One was purple with a grey body, and one was brown with also a grey body. Then the Fat Controller laughed.
Oh. Percy, Stepney, I'd like for you to meet Splatter and Dodge.
Percy and Stepney were confused.
Splatter?
And Dodge?
The diesels smiled.
Yes, pleased to meet you, Percy and Stepney.
We used to work in the goods yard in Baron Furnace, but we arrived on Sodor this morning.
And the Fat Controller sent us to work in the smelters yards to work there indefinitely.
And also because we know steam engines aren't keen on the place, we try and deliver it to you at the halfway point at Kildare.
Percy and Stepney smiled. But Stepney was still curious about one thing.
But, sir, wait. If Splatter and Dodge are now working at the scrapyards, then what happened to Harry and Bert?
After your run-in with them at the scrapyard, Stepney, I spoke to them afterwards. I won't tell you what I said, as it was a bit too strong to repeat, but I sent them back to the mainland without them ever being allowed to return to Sodor.
Stepney and Percy were pleased. Nowadays, whenever any of the engines went to the smelters yard, they knew they were going to be greeted by the kind and friendly faces of 2 new friends.
Welcome to the Sodor Railway.
Splatter and Dodge felt very happy.